All right, everybody, welcome back. How is everybody feeling? All right, don't go down because we have 2 for 2 later on today, and you want to be able to cheer on those people that are going to be courage enough to come up on stage and pitch for $2,000. So stay tuned for that right after our panel that we have next, which is a beautiful, great panel. I want to thank all of you for being here and sticking around all day here at eBridge. It has been a great day for RGV Startup Week Day 2, people. Day 2, 3 to go, 3 to go. So I'm going to introduce Daniel Silva. He is the Vice President of Entrepreneurship and Innovation for the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation. He's going to do the welcome for our next panel.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing today? Well, thank you for coming to RGV Startup Week, Day 2. If you haven't been to eBridge, welcome. Housekeeping, there's some restrooms behind the stairs in case you need to find them. I have the privilege of being able to serve as a vice president here with the organization. I also have the privilege of sitting on the regional board, the advisory regional board for Teach for America. So this has come full circle for me. And so you all are here for a fantastic panel. I liken it to charrettes. We did a series of charrettes once when a company was coming in, and they wanted to hear from the community. Because who better to get a pulse of what the community needs than to ask the community directly? So what I really appreciate from this panel is that we'll be able to listen to students, what the needs are, what the difficulties are, the challenges, and we'll be able to, through constructive process, through collaboration, be able to solve some of those issues. So you're going to enjoy it. Thank you for being here. I'm going to bring up Mo, a good friend of ours, Mauricio Pina, and he's going to say a couple words.
Hello, yeah, I'm Mauricio Pina. I've been part of the community for a very long time, well, since eBridge started, and this has been a place where a lot of young entrepreneurs come and find out what they can actually do. I wanted to sponsor my company, Cobalt Digital Marketing. We've been around for 10 years now, which is awesome, and we wanted to sponsor this specific session because that's what we're always doing. If you just knew how many students have gone through our company, it's a lot, and I think that that's something that I've always been open to, having an open, pipeline from not just UTRGV, but from high schools. I know we work with Mission, with PSJA, some of their high school programs where they will actually send some of the high school students to our company so they can intern, and then they go to college with a little bit more knowledge. With Teach for America, which is, again, full circle, I don't know who remembers here, but years ago, we had a little club down here called Code RGV that was part of Teach for America. And I just want to tell you all, and especially the young people here, it's like, you don't need somebody to tell you to do something. Nobody told us to do this club, a bunch of coders that just wanted to make websites and learn how to program. We just did it. We just got together and we did it, and that evolved into other programs, and obviously now this is something that we're creating and everybody's trying to contribute. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for the session.
Well, thank you, Mo. And it's companies like Cobalt, they really enriched the offering through panels like this, through operations like this. Really, like what he said, I've seen them take students in, teach them, and I've seen, not to create their own competition, but I've seen others go off and start their own companies, and Cobalt's been a fantastic corporate sponsor. Today's panel is going to be moderated by Abril Flores. She is very native to Brownsville. She's very native to education. We really appreciate everything that she does and how she gets involved. So she will be doing our moderation today. So, Abril, come on up.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abril Flores. I currently serve as a director of college counseling at IDEA Brownsville, the one on Paredes. People ask me, which IDEA school? There's so many. I'm the one on Paredes, so if you ever need any help, I will be there to help you. But today, I am incredibly proud and grateful and excited to lead this panel with you all today. Just so you know and give you some background of me, I was born and raised in Brownsville, Texas, actually raised in West Washington Street, where my mom would force us to walk to the HEB downtown every day and carry each 2 bags of groceries. I went to school here. I started at TSC, went to UTB, and then eventually got my master's at Harvard Graduate School of Education. I also served as a TFA core member in 2013, and I finished my service. Probably one of the best experiences in my life, and the reason why I get to work with wonderful individuals that I do today. However, today is not about me. Today is about our youth here in Brownsville. And we really wanted to offer this space so that our youth are able to share their experiences, but also to be honest with us in the conversation of what is working and what isn't working, and how can we best support, our entire youth as they're going into whatever field they so choose to. I know that RGV Startup Week focuses on a lot of those awesome things, but essentially, how do we build that foundation with our youth? And today, I am so happy to welcome you all to our panelists, and I'd like to bring them up here. Before I continue, I do want to lay out some of the objectives for today, because as a true educator, we want to know what are we doing here, right? And what do we want to accomplish? So the first thing, we will have our youth sharing their experiences of being in school, whether it's K through 12 or in college, and what that means, right, for them. Second, we do have a room full of diverse leaders in education, in business, in organizations, and they all have that similar impact in ensuring that our students' voices are being heard and applying that to them. And lastly, we do want to make sure that you all leave here not only listening to the reflections of our youth, but also something that you might want to commit to once you leave, the eBridge Center. After our youth panel, we will have an interactive activity. So yes, you will have to engage with other people, and I'll provide a little bit of guidance for that later. But this is the ability to experience, a conversation with our youth in a different capacity. Sometimes we might not have the ability to have these conversations, but this is a space to do so, and this is a space to ask those questions to our youth. Are we ready? Yes. Can I hear a little bit louder? Are we ready? Hey, I love that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started with our introductions. Our panelists will have about a minute to introduce themselves, and we are going to go ahead and get started with Masi.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Massimiliano Marin-Mera, but you can just call me Masi. I was not born and raised in Brownsville. I was actually born in Rochester, Minnesota, but I moved here when I was in 5th grade, so it's become my home. Basically, I'm really curious about a lot of things. If you were to ask me what I'm really, really curious about, it's anything space or engineering. I love that. Just to get the record straight, Star Wars over Star Trek any day. But I really want to get through this panel that we need to create, like my mom used to say, she always says this, you don't make the place, the place doesn't define you, you define the place. So making sure that you guys understand that no matter what, we come from Brownsville. As long as you take chances with your opportunities, make sure to create opportunities, we can make Brownsville a great place. Thank you.
Thank you, Masi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rayyan Farooqui. I'm also not a native to Brownsville. I moved to the United States October of 2020, born and raised in Saudi Arabia, and I moved to Brownsville 2021 of October. I am a senior at IDEA Brownsville, also super into space and technology, though I also love doing a lot of different things. You will find me doing different things every single week, this being one of them. I will be going to full ride at Duke University for mechanical engineering and material sciences. Go Blue Devils. And I hope that today this stage sets the premise for how the community can benefit off of the youth. And as a member of the Youth Advisory Board, that's what we advocate for. And so we just hope that today leaves a mark for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Rayyan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ann Catherine Nahida, though you all can call me Katie. I am 20 years old and was born and raised here in Brownsville, Texas. I graduated from St. Joseph Academy in 2024 and am currently a sophomore at the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. I am majoring in nursing with the goal of becoming a pediatric oncology registered nurse with the hope of working at MD Anderson Cancer Center in the near future. Alongside my studies, I also work at the Student Union at UTRGV, where I'm able to engage with fellow students and help plan for different campus activities and events. I'm honored to be here with all of you today and to talk about and share a little bit more about my experiences. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie.
Hello, my name is Matthew Lewis. I am a student at development. I am a senior. I have autism and speech delay. Basically, that means I had trouble saying some of the words, and that's okay. I'm a self-advocate. It's me. I had advocate for my rights and others. I am helping change the world for us. I am going to college to major in AI and being accepted to college. I apply for people describe me as honest, hardworking, and patient, and agree. Yeah, nice to meet you. I am 19 years old and was born from Brownsville, Texas. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Matthew. All right, we are moving on to our general questions for the youth panel. Our first question will go to Rayyan, and this question is, what things are important to you at this point in your life, and what has influenced these values and dreams of yours?
Right. So I'm at a very unique point in my life. It's where you've stayed home with your parents, with your family all your life, and now you're moving away to college. In my case, I'm going all the way from South Texas to North Carolina. And so being away from family and being away from the friends and your siblings is definitely something that I have valued in life. But I'm looking at this next step in life as something that is an investment, something towards myself, and something towards my parents as well. And so to put a value to something like that is very hard, but I will say that I hope I'm making my parents proud, and so that is something that's very important to me right now, having the ability to pursue those things with the support of the people around me, my friends, my parents, and my peers, and everybody that's here today. It's lovely to see that you have the support system, and so benefiting off of that is really valuable to me, and hopefully fostering an amazing future for the youth and for the world.
Thank you. Masi, next, same question. What things are important to you at this point in your life, and what has influenced these values and dreams of yours?
Yeah, so I think Rayyan said it pretty well. One thing that's really, really, really important to me is my family, whether it's my close family or my extended family, or the family that I've made just moving around a lot. I've never really lived near much of my extended family. It's just been me, my parents, and my 3 siblings. So being able to find family and community, that's something that's really important to me, whether it's at school, whether it's through mentors, friends, and so much more. That brings me to my next thing, community. Community is something that is extremely important to me. I think whether it's through feeding the homeless or creating recycling cleanups, finding something where you can benefit your community and make everyone feel seen, that's something that's vital and brings so much joy to my heart. And it's something that is extremely important to me. And like Rayyan said, making sure that I make everyone that I know proud. I think I've always viewed it as my grandparents or my parents have dedicated so much time and effort so that I have opportunities that they didn't necessarily have. So whether it's me getting an award or me doing well in school, that has always been like my pushing factor to continue to succeed. Yeah.
Thank you, Masi. And Katie, can you tell us about things that are important to you at this point in your life?
So at this point in my life, I would say the most important thing is my education. Since I was little, my parents instilled in me the importance of obtaining a good education, not just for myself, but for my community. That way I can obtain a job that is beneficial to me and to them. Like I mentioned earlier, I am a nursing major, so this past January, I just finished applying to the nursing program here at UTRGV, and
Congrats.
I am currently awaiting my acceptance response from the admissions department, and I should be hearing back in a month or so. So that's currently where I'm at. And two individuals that really played a huge role in my life and my education would be my older sister and my grandmother. My older sister, Bethany, is a senior at UTRGV, also a nursing major, and she graduates this spring from the program. And I look up to her in so many ways. She's inspired me to lead from the heart and to treat others how I want to be treated. And she shows me daily how much hard work and dedication it takes to succeed in this rigorous program. And another special person is my grandmother, who's here today. She was a registered nurse for 55 years, and yes. And through her work, she showed me that nursing is more than a career path, but rather a way that I can give back to a community that has given me so much. So I'm just so honored to be here today and excited to hopefully embark on this new journey in my life.
Thank you so much. That's beautiful. And we hope to hear back what they tell you in a month.
Yes,
Maybe
I will
the
let you know.
program. Thank you. All right, Matthew, for your question, looking ahead 5 to 10 years, where do you hope to be in your life, in your work, or in leadership, and what influences how you set and make decisions about your goals?
In 5 to 10 years, I hope to have a good career being on my own a truck, and be a leader for other sub-architects, and start on my master's degrees. I wanted to help people understand what autism is and what it's not. I choose my goal by thinking what I'm good at and who I am, and what might make me feel proud and strong. I really want to work on cybersecurity, design computer games, and work with AI technology, create a new program, or a device for people with disability they could use. I don't know.
Thank you, Matthew. Next question goes to Masi. Let's get more specific to your current pathway. Can you share a little bit more about where you hope to be in 5 to 10 years? How did you come to this decision? And what influences how you set your goals?
Okay, cool. So like I mentioned, Star Wars over Star Trek any day. But that's really influenced what I want to do in these next coming years. I want to work in the aerospace industry. So anything from rockets to planes and stuff like that. But specifically, I want to work at the intersection of aerospace and sustainability. So basically, I want to create a sustainable revolution in aerospace. So we are seeing a big increase in the aerospace industry, whether it's SpaceX is just in our backyard. But what I haven't seen is that we're making sure that we're keeping our environment safe. And that's so important to me because Mother Nature is our home. It's what has given us the opportunity to continue to improve in this aerospace industry. And for me specifically to explore space, that's my goal. It's given us the opportunity to do that. So we need to make sure to keep the place that has given us the opportunity to do all of this safe. We can even see this in Star Wars. When we think of all of the planets that are in Star Wars, when people chase power and progress over keeping our environment safe, you see a planet explode or you see a planet die. So I want to make sure that Earth is kept safe. It's so beautiful. I'm a proud Ecuadorian American, so Ecuador hosts a variety, it's one of the most biodiverse countries in the world, and so I want to have a future where I see my kids be able to see that biodiversity and to explore the beauty of nature here and hopefully in space as well. And what has influenced those? Like I said, Star Wars, that's a big one. I also want to shout out my dad. My dad is a mechanical engineer by trade, but he was the type of person to give you puzzles. I was 5 years old, and he would give us these metal puzzles. And some of my friends know exactly which ones I'm talking about because they've struggled with them too. But he would give me these puzzles, and I would struggle for hours, and he would never tell me the answer. I would wait and struggle some more, and he would still not tell me the answer. And still to this day, there's one that I haven't figured it out, and he still won't tell me the answer. But I think the real lesson there was that I love to continue to challenge, continue to think outside the box. So yeah, that's what's influenced me.
Thank you. Do you have your puzzles? Oh,
I still have them.
next time. Thank you, Masi. Next question goes to Katie. Katie, how would you evaluate your current progress towards your hopes and your dreams? What are some of the things which have influenced how you feel about your progress?
So I would say that I'm right on track for my hopes and dreams. I have maintained a 4.0 in all of my prerequisite courses for nursing, which is something that I set myself as my main top priority when I first started college. I also took the HESI exam, which is basically the nursing entrance exam, and got the results I wanted after months and months of studying. And lastly, ultimately, I did apply to nursing school, and I'm just so honored that I was able to apply to this rigorous program along with so many other students at UTRGV. So these three main goals of mine have all been done, hopefully accomplished in the next month or so. Something that I also find super important is maintaining a healthy balance between my academic goals and my job responsibilities. So today was actually a very big day at UTRGV because we had a very special event celebrating our 10th year anniversary of being a university. So me, along with a lot of my other coworkers, were able to actually work this event. We had a lot of free food, live music, vendors like carnival rides. And it was just super exciting because I'm seeing how much development is happening in the Brownsville campus, Edinburgh as well. And I'm just so honored to be a part of something like this. And it amazes me every day how involved students want to be when given the opportunity. So I find that these opportunities are especially important, especially in the youth. So I would say that right now my goals are being met.
Can we give a round of applause for that 4.0? That's amazing. Congrats. Matthew, this is your question. How do you feel about your progress towards your hopes and dreams so far, and what has helped or made things harder along the way?
I feel proud of my progress because many people with disability feel inspired by me or what I had achieved. I work hard to get to college to speak up for myself and everyone else. My family, my mentor, and my own strength helped me along the way. And what made things hard when people didn't believe in me or didn't understand autism. I found friends that care about me and who I am. I want to show others with disability they can have a brighter future.
Thank you, Matthew. Our next question, Rayyan. Knowing that this audience is made up of leaders in education, business, and in the broader community, what would you want to share with them today that perhaps they might not know already, or perhaps it isn't unique, but you really want to emphasize?
Thank you for the question. First of all, I'd like to say how quickly I was the first one to take on that question when we had our meeting. I was like, yes, I'd like to do that question because I always have stuff to say when it comes to that. Good and, of course, stuff to take away from. The number one thing that I have learned over the years is that when, as Katie had said, when given the opportunity, the youth is going to take it and going to run with it. We have the energy, we have the fresh ideas, and we have all it takes to get things moving. And so if I were to give you one active goal to achieve next time you're in your meeting or next time you're working with somebody, at that serious table, leave a seat open for that one individual. Leave that seat open for that one youth because you never know what ideas will arise. And I have seen that firsthand. There have been a lot of opportunities that have been given to me, and I have proven that we should do this, not only for myself, but for the broader community, for the youth of Brownsville. I've been to meetings and you hear people say every single time the youth are the stakeholders of our community. And yes, they are, but to have them be facilitated, you need to have them be sitting next to you. And that is what's important. And so one of my main takeaways is that you allow for students, you allow for the youth to grow in an environment where they believe in themselves to make a change. That's what's important. Once you give them that platform, you just sit back and you see what's going to happen. And so the second part to that is that our education system, our schools also need to facilitate that and have a mutual relationship. And speaking from personal experience, and I know she'll attest to it because she's my counselor, there have been a lot of times where I've missed school or have not been able to go to school for days at times because I am occupied with a different event or there's a meeting and I have to abide by business hours. And so there's so many things that are always going on, and at times as a senior it got hard to balance both the outside of school things and also still keeping up with school. And so for those that we have in our room, our educators, I would say cut grace for those students that want to pursue those things outside of school, because ultimately you never know what opportunity they'll find. And so as educators, if we cultivate that environment where teachers tell the students that, hey, you found an opportunity, amazing, go take a look at it, check what it's all about, is only when we'll move forward as a community. And so for teachers, number one thing to keep in mind, and for those people in our community, our city elected officials, our businessmen, always leave that seat open for the youth and always make that advocacy movement, because you never know.
And now that you're sharing that, can you tell us about an experience where someone left that seat open for you and what that was like?
Yes, so I would say one of the major instances that I've held on to for a while was 2 years ago when I got told to join the Youth Advisory Board for the City of Brownsville by Ms. Flores. You had reached out to me about that, and this is basically a board that is run by the city. It was an initiative by our Commissioner at Large, Tino Villarreal, and the whole idea was to make this board of students from different high schools all over Brownsville and surrounding areas, and we got to work on stuff like policy. We went to meetings with the mayor, the commissioners, and bridged the gap between the youth and the city. And so we have different initiatives, such as our scholarship program, where we give money to students who want to pursue competitions or summer programs. And so things as such where you cultivate initiatives and programs to facilitate those things is really when given the seat, you get those things started. And that is definitely one of those examples. Another example is that the Youth Advisory Board is also hosting a Youth Civic Innovation Summit, which will be held here this coming Saturday at 3 p.m. We will have students come out and solve active problems our community is facing, and they'll be pitching that towards the end of the day. We'll have a panel of judges, and there'll be a cash prize for those winning teams. And so the whole idea is that once you have events like these in spaces and these support systems, you cultivate those ideas, and you have these students who know what to do. They just need someone to hear them. And so when given the seat to, which in my case was the Youth Advisory Board, that is what we chose to do as a board, and we hope to continue as well.
Thank you. And how can they reach out to you all to get more information on that?
Follow us on Instagram, BTX Youth Advisory Board, or if you ever find me anywhere on LinkedIn, on Instagram, any social media platform, definitely reach out to me. I'm always open to any communication.
All right, thank you. Our next question will go to Katie. We are moving on to our follow-up questions. What are some experiences in your high school which you took, or college, sorry, let me repeat that. What are some experiences in your high school or in college which you took advantage of or are taking advantage of, and why? And can you tell us more about that program or that experience, or might have been a person?
Okay, so I can talk a little bit about my high school experience and now that I'm in college. So starting with high school, like I mentioned earlier, I graduated from St. Joseph Academy in 2024, and I'm very honored to say that I graduated from this prestigious high school. I went there from grades 7 to 12, and during my time here, I had a lot of leadership roles and also service opportunities, which I think is so important because service is extremely important in our community, and I think is something that needs to be talked about more. So one of the experiences I remember, and one of my favorites, is I was given the opportunity with a lot of other of my classmates to actually come downtown to the Good Neighbor Settlement Home and prepare meals for the homeless people or the less fortunate in our community. And this really helped shape who I am today because it made me realize how blessed I am and how much our community needs our help. I was also able to make Christmas cards for individuals in the nursing home. And this also helped me because I was able to go to the nursing homes and actually interact with the patients. And it's, again, it's an eye-opener because I feel like everyone talks about service, but what really helps is being in there and seeing our community and the people that we're surrounded with on a daily basis. And now that I'm in college, some programs that I've taken advantage of is definitely the tutoring center. This past summer, I was there a lot because I had a chemistry course, which I'm not the best at chemistry. So I was very grateful for this opportunity to be there. Also, the counseling center, whenever I'm stressed out or whenever I just need someone to rely on or talk to, we have wonderful counselors at UTRGV. And also my academic advisor, she has helped me with all of my prerequisite courses, and without her, I wouldn't know where I am on track. But thankful to all these programs and all these opportunities that I feel have shaped me into who I am today, and very grateful for them.
Thank you, Katie. I want to ask you a follow-up question. Are there services that you think, now that you're in college, that you haven't seen and would love to see?
Yes, more community-based services, I would say. Since being in high school, I have not had the opportunity to go back to the Good Neighbor Settlement Home. I know there's also programs for women who are pregnant that don't have enough money for diapers or essential needs for their babies. So I would like to see more programs like this. And if the opportunity ever arises where I have the opportunity to go, I would be there.
Thank you. Next question goes to Masi. When you think about the future, what emotions does it bring up for you, and why is this?
The future's scary. I'm gonna be very, very honest. It's something that for a lot of students, I know because I talk to a lot of students, it's really scary. But I like to think about it in the opposite direction. That scariness can also be seen as excitement. If I can talk about the psychology a little bit. Fear is actually the same feeling as when you're really excited. You get your heart pumping. And so what's important is that when we look at the future, when we see that fear, whether it's because of college decisions or financial stability or career opportunities or whatever, we need to look at it with excitement. It's a realm of possibility. In the future, there are so many versions of myself that I do not know that I am excited to meet. There are people that I do not know yet that I'm excited to meet. There are opportunities that I have not gotten that I will get in the future that I am excited to have. So when I look at the future like that, then you're gonna have a positive outlook on life. And there's so much more, and you're gonna be blessed with so many more opportunities because you are looking for those opportunities. You're looking for those more nuances that you can see in your own life, and so much more. But there's another caveat to that. One of my favorite icons is he's a mountaineer, an Ecuadorian mountaineer, and he talks a lot about living in the present. So the past has already happened, and obviously you can reflect on the past. The future, we don't know if it's gonna be there. So make sure to live in the present. Make sure to live every day like it could be your last, because it could. But when we look at it like that, what we see is we start to really appreciate the daily things, really appreciate whether it's your mom saying good morning, giving you a kiss, whether it's your coworker complimented your earrings or your watch. Make sure that you really take in everything that happens every day, because that's when you're gonna get the most, that's how you're gonna get the most out of life. Yeah.
Thank you, that was beautiful. If you had a teenager go up to you and saying, I'm scared for the future, what would you say to them in order to help them turn that fear into excitement for the future?
That's a good question, and I actually do get that question a lot. So when we're looking at the future, I like to think about it in steps, right? So there's a couple steps, but if you start to skip those steps, if you start to skip ahead, that's when you get really worried, right? So for me, I applied to a bunch of summer programs this year because I'm a junior in high school. And first you have to do the application, right? Then you have to wait to get the response. But just take it day by day, right? Finish your application. once you realize that you finished it, know that you put all your effort and everything that you could into that application. And if it doesn't go your way, that's okay. There's something out there for you. And I think that's another really good, important caveat is there's something for you. For every person out there, there's something for you. It might not be what you imagined, but there is something for you. And as long as you take advantage of that opportunity, as long as you take advantage of what you're given, then you're going to succeed, then you're going to thrive, and you're going to flourish.
Thank you. Our next question goes to Rayyan. To what extent do you think your experience is similar or different to that of your peers and your friends?
Right. First of all, I'd like to say, Mas, you just made me reflect on a lot of things in the past minute and a half that I've been sitting next to you talking. But I would say what Masi had just said is a great testimony to how we have different and shared experiences with our peers and with really everyone sitting on this amazing panel today. We all do different things. We all come from different backgrounds. We don't judge who's doing what. We don't know who will do what. But the fact that we all are so passionate and so ambitious about different things, whether that's engineering or whether that's nursing or whether that's advocacy for autism, all these are amazing initiatives and everyone's different in their own ways. Yet we can still sit together and talk about common things. That is the differences and the similarities that I find. There's beauty in those differences, and so we don't see it as anything negative. I never did. If anything, I saw them as positives because if I'm in a room full of people, there are many things that I don't know, which I will only learn with the others that I'm around. And so a lot of shared experiences that I've had in the past with people, and I've only learned a lot from them. And so for everyone that's here today, I would like to invite you to also be open-minded and support the people that are around you, and be open-minded to listening to what they have to say. That has gotten me through a lot of aspects in my high school, or whether that is outside of high school. But one thing that I'll definitely say is that every student, every youth has that drive and ambition. For us sitting here on the stage, for a lot of the Youth Build folks that are here with us today, all of us have ambitions for different things. And so there's a lot of beauty in addressing those things to this extent. And I wouldn't be able to pinpoint anything specific that I have this, which is similar, and I have that is different. But I will say that everyone is special in their own ways. And that is what makes this world such an amazing place.
I appreciate that, but I would really like to know what is one shared experience that you have experienced, because I know you have a lot of them.
Let me put it this way. One shared experience that I've had is working with a lot of like-minded students. I am in a rocket team. We were making a tall rocket. Masi's is in our amazing rocket team as well. That is a shared experience that I have with a lot of folks. All of us come from different high schools. It's not for one high school or related to one school district. We have kids coming all the way up from McAllen and far, and we meet every week in Brownsville. That's definitely a shared experience that we have. The fact that one rocket, one piece of item, which will just be going super high up, can bring so many people together, and we're breaking our head over different things all the time. That is definitely a shared experience that we have, and it connects to the fact that there's some of us that want to do different things, yet we're still here together for 2 hours in a very, very hot shed working on a rocket. And so that's definitely a shared experience that we have, and I believe that can be the case for many other things as well.
Thank you. Matthew, this question goes to you. To what extent do you think your experiences are similar or different to that of your peers and your friends?
It is different because everything I want to try, I had to prove I could do it since I was little. I was told I would never talk by a doctor, but here I am. I had to be, okay. I had to be in the hospital a lot when I was little, and I've been missing school lately because of my lungs. I was told I was not going to college by a person with my autism. But I got into college like everyone else. I'm here, I'm talking to everyone. like everybody else.
Let's give her a round of applause for that. That's amazing. You are all amazing, y'all. Now we're moving on to our last question, and then we will transition to our activity as a class. All right. Yeah, you caught that. All right. So for our last question, which is how I mentioned my favorite question because I want to hear what's on your mind, right? What is it that we got to do to make this better for you all? And this question will apply to all of you. And we'll start with Masi, okay? If you could implement a change to your education, what would it be? And why do you think this hasn't happened already?
All right, so my change would be community projects implemented through schools. So Rayyan mentioned our rocketry team. He kind of downplayed it. We're building a L3 12-foot rocket that should be headed up 10,000 feet in the air. But one of the cool things about that is I'm getting my hands dirty. I'm doing something real. I'm not just learning the theory of a rocket, I'm actually building one. And I think that would be really amazing, not just outside of school, but in school. Whether you want to be a lawyer, being able to actually go to court, see how lawyers actually complete their whatever it's called. I'm not into law. Getting to build a rocket, that's more of my thing. Getting your hands dirty, doing stuff like that. And we've seen some of this. I think last year they actually mentioned PLTW courses. That's Project Lead the Way. And we're seeing some of that, but what I would really like to invite is getting the community involved. So not just having the students work on a project, but actually getting the community involved, whether it's like a culinary course, inviting restaurants to teach something on their menu to a class, or having an engineering firm come and teach the engineering students about pipe fitting. I know for the rocketry team, our shed is actually hosted by STX Metalworks. They do pipe fitting, and they actually have a lot of high school interns. And I think that's really, really amazing because once we get the youth involved with community organizations, we're just preparing them for the future.
First of all, Masi, that's exactly what I was looking to say, but I'll come up with the fact that schools can only do so much. You can only expect so much from administration because at one point you want to outsource those things. And so outsourcing those things would be leveraging off of those organizations. So here my takeaway, yes, would be for the educators to be more gracious with these things, but for those that are our community partners, people that are in different businesses, that have different law firms or different engineering companies, is to keep in mind that if you choose to invest in the youth, you are investing in the future. And so my main takeaway is that reach out to those teachers, reach out to those schools, and offer them what you can do for those students. That's the best way to go about it. Because you cannot ask schools to facilitate students with different projects when they don't know where to go to and who to go to. And so we have such a beautiful community of so many different companies and startups. And so leveraging off of those companies and being the one to take the initiative to reach out to the schools and be like, hey, what can we do to help would definitely be such a great thing for our community.
Thank you. Email me, please, if you have opportunities. I'll give you my email. Katie.
So now that I've gone through high school and I am going through college, I also agree with what Masi said. I think hands-on learning is very important. I attended all my lecture classes with my professors. I was able to learn the information that's in the textbook. But at the end of the day, I think it's important to actually physically do what you want to do. So what I mean by that is get the practice you need, because practice does make perfect. So just like if you want to get a good grade on your test, you put in the work, you study the hours. But hands-on learning is just as important. So more accessibility to these types of programs and more networking, because I know the youth will show up. And we all have Instagram and TikTok. So putting those links on and showing that there are programs that are available and the location, and just so that way we're able to practice what we want to do, and that way by the time we get to college, we already have a sense of what programs we want to be in or the different networks that are available to us.
What I would like to add on is that sometimes some of the community events are during the time of school hours. So ideally having events that are after school hours or in a weekend, that would be super helpful for educators in K through 12, just so that our students and our staff are able to participate in those. Thank you, Katie. Matthew, for your question, if you could change one thing about your education, what would you change and why do you think it hasn't changed yet?
If I could change one thing about school, I would make it easier for students with disability to get support they need without having to fight for it. Over my 12 years in school, I watched my parent advocate and sign paper for me. I wanted groups and business to talk with us who had disability and help build a program with us in mind so we can get job one day and make our own money. I don't think it had changed yet because we still asking things that everyone else get without asking. But things will change with us speaking up, like here I am today.
All right, thank you. Let's give all of our panelists a round of applause, please. Thank you all so much. This does not mark the end of our panel just yet. So what we're going to move into is our activity session, which will require all of you to stand up and walk. So we will have 4 corners, right? We have boards. There's one right here. There's one in the back. There's one on the other back. And then there's one in the corner. So we will have 4 sections, and each section has a label. One section will be real-world workforce readiness skill building for youth, and our youth representative will be Katie with our adult facilitator, Armando. Armando, where are you? Okay, he's right there. That's that section. The second section is exposure and access to adult networks for youth. Our youth rep will be Rayyan, and our adult facilitator will be Samantha. Over there with Nelson. Our third will be the youth civic engagement and participation in decision making with Masi and myself. We are over there in the corner. And our last one will be accessibility of opportunities for youth. And our youth rep will be Matthew, and our adult facilitator will be Anna. The reason why we have these sections is so that we're able to engage with what our youth panelists shared for us today. Each section will focus on that area, and what I do ask of you is that you can go to the one that you feel resonates with you the most, the one where you may potentially be able to support in any way. Within each section, we do have 3 questions. You don't have to memorize the questions. I'll read them out loud because those questions are on that paper in that whiteboard. We only have 3 questions. Those questions read, what needs were shared in the panel connected to this? What are some ideas to address this? And how can you specifically contribute? So our ask is that at this time, you stand up and you go to whichever corner you feel most compelled to, and you begin to have those conversations with our youth panelists and our adult representative. Okay, so let's start moving now. I'll give you about 20 more seconds before we transition back. I know those are amazing conversations happening. All right, we're bringing him back in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and I can have my panelists join us. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Please make your way back to your seats so that we can close out our panel. Rayyan, Miss Katie, and Matthew. Make your way back to your seats, and we will be closing out. Let me move this so that you can get closer. All right, we're going to go ahead and close out. Thank you all so much for joining us today. One of the things that I did want to mention is that we had a great conversation. Obviously, there were a lot of great conversations, but one of the things that I'm going to commit to pushing for is coffee with the mayor after hours, specifically teen and youth focused. So I really love that idea, and that's something that I'm going to be doing. But during this time, as we close out, I'm going to pass it over to our youth panelists to just share a last thing, and then we have some closing words.
So one thing that I would like to reflect on when we were part of our groups, it was amazing to see that we had a good mix of students and educators and people in the field and adults, and it was amazing to see that everyone has something to offer and something to contribute. I heard things like maybe we need more volunteers, or if it's a volunteer application. And then I heard the adults say, what if we can mentor the students? And so it was great to see that when you are in such a small group, and it speaks masses for those big communities, that despite being a group of 5 to 6 people, there were still ideas as such from students and from the parents and the mentors here that were able to contribute to the society in a way. And having that kind of active role and being or willing to take that initiative is really important, which I saw in our focus group. So definitely something to look forward to and seeing out in the community.
Yeah, so we had very similar kind of thoughts. But one thing that I really wanted to emphasize was making sure that for all of the youth that are out here, that we are engaging. It's something that I mentioned at the beginning of my introduction, was that the place doesn't define you, but you define the place. But like, you need to make sure that you are taking advantage of those opportunities when you have the chance. So youth going to events, youth making sure that they're volunteering, stuff like that. Go to the events. There are events out there, just as long as you take advantage of them. Another thing that we really, really wanted to mention was that making sure that we give some timeliness when we're actually planning events. Give at least 2 weeks notice. Make sure that the people can actually save some time to make it out. It's probably a cultural thing, but we do see a lot of times where people give like a week's notice, maybe even 3 days before. So I ask all of the people out here who organize events, make sure that you have some timely manner when you're sending out your invitations. Yeah.
I also had a very good discussion with my group. I was able to meet with some of the team members from Youth Build, and also Marisela, who had to step out, but she's the executive director from RGV Lead. And what she does in her department is basically all of these conversations that we're having, she also has with her team. But now she's starting to network it into our community to give people like Youth Build the opportunities to attend these events, get different service opportunities, and really just develop their futures and your future paths. So I think it's very important for networking and important for some of our leaders in our community to step into our schools and really get a broader understanding of what our students need, and just like the rest of us. And I think that we will see great changes when this happens.
I want to say thank you for everyone to even being here, listen to our voice, what we have to say. I am very thankful what you guys came for, all your way travel to be here. I had a great conversation with my groups, couple of multiple ideas about the disability type. Thank you truly about it. I'm not going to say thank you, sorry.
Give one last round of applause to our panelists. Thank you all so much. You all can take a seat now. And now I would like to welcome Ana, who's going to give our closing remarks. Thank you all so much for having me.
Thank you, Abril, and thank you to all of our amazing panelists. My name is Ana Gonzalez, and I have the real privilege, and it is a true privilege, to serve as the executive director at Teach for America. And I just wanted to add in closing how fitting it is that we are at eBridge for the RGV Startup Week, and that we have youth speaking truth to their hopes, their dreams, the challenges that they're still encountering, and really the opportunity for us all to be part of their journey. And so what I wanted to share with you today about being at eBridge is that when you think about things and the way they need to change for our students, we, the adults, are actually a bridge for them. And today we heard about their hopes, we heard about their dreams, we heard about the challenges that they face. But the beautiful things that I heard coming from our leaders, our young leaders today, was that they are grounded in values. They are grounded in family and community. They have a sense of possibility for the future, a future that is inclusive, a future that really listens to the needs and how they want to lead in the future. They want all of the things that they just beautifully mentioned this afternoon, but what I heard them mentioning is that they don't want to do it alone. They want the resources, they want the opportunities, and they want the support. And so I see a lot of youth here and a sprinkle of adults. I feel that our youth have so much wisdom to share. It's our charge to listen to them, to really take their thoughts and really make them come to fruition for them. So one of the things that I'd like to charge our community with is to invite youth to be the problem solvers, not only for today, but for tomorrow. And let's listen to their hopes, their dreams with a sense of possibility. And Mo, I think you said this at the very beginning, and thank you again for your sponsorship. Let's all have the disposition of getting out there and just doing it, because together we are stronger and together we can do more. Thank you again for joining us. I want to also thank Abril Flores for being a remarkable leader and for really stewarding the trajectory for so many youth in our community and beyond. Thank you again. Have a great rest of your evening. And I think we have some networking and some snacks that you are welcome to stay a part of. Thank you, eBridge, for creating the opportunities. Let's widen the path for all of our students, and let's change the narrative for them today and tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. We're going to be back in around 15 minutes with the 2-for-2 competition sponsored by PNC Bank. We're going to have some snacks. We're going to have some food and drinks too. So please stay for that. Stay for the networking and stay for the networking as well, for the event as well.